All right, my third Photoshop video tutorial, a quick review. For those of you who are at home on a personal computer and not an Apple, a Mac, you're going to start off going to the lower left-hand corner once again in order to review and heading up to Adobe Photoshop CC 2015, and we're going to click on that and you'll see software opening up, and then we're going to go to File. Let's let it first open up since we're accessing this through the Adobe Cloud. We will have that box pop up each time. We're going to go to File, Open, and click on Emphasis. So there's where we left off before. Now what I'm going to do just for a review is start from scratch. So I'm going to go to File, New, click my pixels 2 inches, and once again type in 8.5 for the width and 11 for the height, and then 300 dpi for the resolution. And then we're going to make sure the color mode is RGB for red, green, blue. Click OK. And then we're going to go to Save As, and we're going to title this Emphasis Design. Last time we had a file named Emphasis. And just so we can separate the two, I'm going to call this Emphasis Design and click Save. Okay, now notice over here we have our layers palette. Now just for the heck of it, I'm going to pull this layers palette out and then stretch it out. You'll notice we have the background, which is white, and that background is locked right now. Notice how there's a little lock icon right there. Now if we were to double click it just like that, I've unlocked the background. Now if I click on that eyeball and turn that eyeball on and off, now it's in the off mode, you'll notice that the background, which was white, is now checkerboard. That means it's transparent. So as I mentioned before, we're going to be learning how to use Photoshop as we learn how to design. And we'll be, in a second, working with the term emphasis. So we can turn that on, and then we have the white background once again. And to put everything back in order, I'm going to go to Reset Typography, and it puts my layers back right over here. So layer 0. Now I'm going to create layer 1, which is going to be the word emphasis. Click once and type out emphasis and go to my item tool, and notice how there's these little, I'm zooming in right now through my zoom tool, which is down here on the bottom of the toolbox right above the black and white color option. So when I click that, notice how there's these little boxes all the way around. There's 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, 1 here, 1 here. What that allows you to do, now I'm going to zoom back out so you can see what's going to happen. What that allows you to do is actually expand it. But notice this, as I pull emphasis up and down, it's becoming like all distorted. In order to keep it proportionate, keep the proportion even in terms of height and width, you have to click Shift. What that does is it constrains the height and width. So I can make it bigger and smaller. Now for this demonstration, I'm going to pull it out so it's pretty big. Now let me go to Escape on my keyboard and try that once again. Hold down the Shift key and pull it out. go back to my item tool, and there we go. We have emphasis. Now, the next thing we're going to do is explore different font styles, because with this first little exercise, you need to really start looking at all the different types of fonts that are available within your Photoshop program and decide on which ones to you really communicate the idea of emphasis. Fonts that are real powerful, visually compelling, that have a certain boldness to them, a certain presence to them that you can begin your design from. So what I'm going to do is go over to here, double click that T. So now this is highlighted. Once again, what I did is I went to the big T next to the word emphasis on my top layer here. By the way, I can turn that layer on and off with the eyeball once again. Double click it so it's highlighted. Now what I'm going to do is go way up top along my options bar here, and you'll see below the terms image and layer, we have file, edit, image and layer. I'm going to highlight the actual name of the font like that. Just highlight it in blue. And then if I use my arrows on my keyboard, the up and down arrows, I can actually scroll through the font and just look at all the different options that are available. And notice as I do this, over here, the name of the font actually appears. So there's a Myriad Pro. And as I click down, Niagara Solid, you have all these different options. So you decide as a designer which font suggests the idea of emphasis the most. Now for my little demo, I'm going to go with a standard font called Impact. If we have it on here, Impact Regular. It's a sans serif and it has a real boldness to it. So there we are, Impact. Now, don't forget, you got to go to Save As, make sure, oh, there we go, Emphasis Design, just checking. It's always good to save your work every few minutes in case your computer crashes or something goes haywire with your version of Photoshop. Now, so there we go. Now the first thing we need to do in terms of the project criteria is, first of all, we're using the word emphasis, and we're using the style Impact, which is a sans serif font, which we'll learn more about down the road. Now we need to manipulate the point size. So right now the point size, the actual size of this font, if I were to highlight it, is 45.72 points. So watch, if I click 12 up here, that's 12 points. And then if I highlight the 12, I can use my up arrow to actually increase the point size, or I can click this little arrow here and go down and choose a smaller point size. Either approach works fine. But what I'm getting at, all of you have to decide how you want to manipulate either one or more letters within the word emphasis. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different letters. Now my little demo, what I've decided to do is highlight the P, H, and the A and place a little emphasis just on those 3 letters alone. You decide how you want to do that with yours. It can be in any sequence, any order. Be creative and just explore different options. And remember, at the end of this second module, you're going to need to have 3 different concepts for the term emphasis, and then eventually 3 different concepts, design concepts for the term balance, which we'll be learning how to manipulate. And within each of these demonstrations, I'm going to slowly get more advanced and introduce to you new Photoshop concepts, techniques for manipulating typography. So I'm going to go to Apply, and then go to Save, since I've done Save As already. Now, just for a little bit of a review, I could click on that E just alone and highlight the 55 up top there and use my up arrow to make that E larger on its own. Or I can go smaller, or I can click and actually click on the point size itself and bring that down. So now that E is 24 points. Now let me zoom in so you can see. See how it's a lot smaller? So that E is 24 points. Now, for my little demo, I want to have everything 55 points except for the P, H, and the A. I'm going to place emphasis on those three forms within the overall group. So those are 84, and then all the rest are going to be 55. So let me highlight that E and bring that back up to 55. And then I'm going to go to Save As. Nope, I've already saved as once. Now I can just go to Save. And that's it for this demo. Next one will get a little bit more involved.